Hi, folks. Hi, folks. You were Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio no pictures live stream. Please listen to this essay as you would a radio broadcast as you're driving along in your car, your truck, or put in those earbuds and listen to it in public transport. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the recent run of cop shows that I've seen, police dramas, and they're seriously rejigging these to reflect the cutting edge, if you like, of woke insanity. And some of it you have a chuckle. It's just so absurd that you have a laugh at it. But it's certainly being put together to try and re-engineer society, and it definitely doesn't reflect any reality that's ever been known throughout human history. But here we go. Now, I made a couple of notes on this, so I'll just refer to these notes now on one of these cop shows. This was a cop show that came out in, originally it was a series done in about 1970, and it was in an area that was 100% white at the time. And so all the actors and everybody was white in it. There wasn't a brown or black face or an Asian face in sight. They did a new series in the early 1990s. And again, it was all white, but they just changed all the senior sort of important managerial type roles, the judge, the police chief, and, those sorts of things. They were now all white women. And one of them of uncertain sexuality. They're just hinting that she was a lesbian, but that was still even a step too far at the time. But they've redone this series yet again just a couple of years ago, and boy, has the politically correct has the diversity directors been at action here. So now, fortunately, the three main actors, which is the main cop and the two main bad guys, are all white, and they carry the show. The scripting is actually not too bad. So so the straight white male, all of his bosses are black, brown chicks. And he knows his place, by the way, as a moral fucking inferior. He is fucking inferior to them, and that the show really reinforces that. His black, brown female bosses, by the way, way superior to him morally, and they put him in his place. As straight white males should be put in their fucking place. Damn fucking Nazis they are. His colleague is also a brown chick who is way smarter than him. I mean, holy fuck, he is a dumb motherfucker compared to her, an early 20s dark brown chick genius. And it comes across. She is a fucking genius. Now they get into trouble a few times because she's not very fit, the young brown chick, but they still have scenes where he's fighting the fit white guy, the fit white guy criminal. The fit white guy criminal beats him up, but the little unfit brown chick comes along and beats the shit out of the criminal who's just beaten him up. And he's a really fit guy. So so they struggle a little bit with this. How does this unfit little brown chick end up kicking the shit out of this super fit white criminal guy? Because he's white, of course. So and she beats up super fit white, was 3 times the size with consummate ease, not even a beat of perspiration. Now, the 25 main characters in this show. Now, this is set in a country that is 97%, white. And even then, the majority of the brown people there are just college students. So now 25 of the main characters in this show, only 8 are white. So it's gone from 100% white to 100% white to now, 30% white in a country that's 97% white. So that's an interesting sort of, are they really shoehorning the non-white people in? Of the 25 people, main characters, 17 are female. 2 are lesbian, and one of the white guys is gay. As far as I can work out, there's only 3, maybe 4 straight white males in the whole show. And 3 two of the three straight white males have mixed race relationships. Fuck. Now, the main character is divorced and very badly behaved. The divorce is his fault. It is 100% his fault. She is super well behaved, absolutely, very, very cultured, and he's just a yob. How the two had ever got together, of course, is. And his ex-wife morally lectures him. She can cut off his contact with the children any time she chooses, and because he is morally fucking inferior. He's violent fucking Nazi, and she can cut him off in his eye, and she is way morally superior to him. So this is sort of the dynamic of the show. Now, in that particular show, again, the scripting's not too bad, actually, aside from the heavy-handed injection of political correctness. As soon as you get away, if you can look beyond that, it's actually not too bad. So that's one show. Now, the next show is a woman. She's a woman cop. She's supposed to be a senior officer, but she does a lot of work on the street. Now, she'd be late 40s, not very fit at all. And but the show has her, in one scene, she's running after a white, again, evil straight white males. She's running after a white guy who'd be in his early 20s, big guy, very fit. And she runs after him, catches him. And even you can see the way she runs, because they've got little cut scenes of her running. I don't think she's ever run in her life. I mean, she's clearly very uncomfortable and looks uncoordinated. She's given her age and her weight distribution, a lack of fitness. She waddles rather than runs. So she's supposed to be, and they show her as catching him, and then he's gonna fight her, but she absolutely kicks the crap out of him. He doesn't even lay a hand on her. She is a fucking expert at hand-to-hand combat. This seriously unfit, nearly 50-year-old woman beats the shit out of this really fit 20-year-old white guy. Well, that's reality for you. And there's a number of scenes where they just overplay this idea that the white guys may try and sort of fight her or something, but she takes them out with consummate ease. So that they're constantly pushing that. But equally, she's also morally superior to the men in the office and the men around her who all seem to be surprisingly badly behaved. I mean, I've never, ever in my life met men, in whatever group, that would behave or that way. So they've super ginned up supposed male bad behaviour that only exists in the imagination of the gender studies classroom. Again, I've never seen that behaviour in my life. But the same goes on the other side. I've never seen women that unfit, running around beating the crap out of super fit. I've never seen that either, nor have I ever heard about it. And so this is now the next cop shows, again, this is a brown woman who, she's the short, stubby, unfit brown chick, who heavy play on her moral superiority. She has a white male boss who is utterly incompetent, crude, vulgar, super unqualified, and she just has to tolerate his white supremacy, patriarchy, misogyny. She just has to, and she rolls her eyes and take, but there's no question who the moral superior one is here. No question at all. The little stubby, dumpy brown chick is way morally superior. But even this little stumpy little brown chick that waddles around the place, she too can beat the living shit out of these super fit white, but because the bad guys are all white, by the way. There's no such thing as a black guy who's a criminal. They're all white and straight, and male. So she runs around effortlessly beating the crap out of them. And yet the likelihood of someone in that physical condition and size beating the crap out of a newborn baby would be fairly limited. So she's depicted as doing that, and again, heavy-handed moral superiority over the white people, and the idiot bosses she has No, I've never worked for a boss that's that bad in my life, as depicted here, nor have I ever had a female colleague who's ever been this good. So again, there's this heavy departure from reality. Now, one of the things I like about gritty cop shows is, or movies, whatever they are, TV dramas, is the relationship to reality. And that's something that makes it, sort of brings it alive in a way that other shows can't. And I think a cop show is a good vehicle for bringing that reality to life. But once they go down the ideological path, as these things do, it becomes ludicrous. It becomes laughable. And I find, even though the scripting's not too bad on this other one that I mentioned first off, I find that I have to make a conscious effort to sort of, even to the point where if you see the scene when the black chick's going to give him the moral lecture, I put on the mute button just because it's so ridiculous and absurd the way they depict the black female as is such a moral superior to everyone. I mean, that's real life, yeah, sure. So they want to create an ideological fantasy universe in order to re-engineer, I don't know, young minds in particular, I suppose. And you see this with younger women around the place, or any lot of women, that they come into an interaction with a man that they are entitled to this absolute moral superiority. And half of that is their moral superiority, but the other half is the straight white male, his moral inferiority. And so the exchange, the interaction has to reflect, and he must accept in the interaction his moral inferiority. And if he doesn't, then, well, he's a Nazi. Simple as that. You've been with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for listening.